we're very close to research time because I think it would only be fit to introduce the animals that we are researching. So here is one of them. This is one of the females here, Helen. She's approximately 21 years of age. Here's her other female companion. This is Hannah, and she's about 14 years old. And finally, the only male here at the aquarium, Spinnaker. He is approximately 21 years of age and quite impressive, right? So that's a nice introduction to the dolphins. What do you think? A nice warm round of applause on a nice hot day? Sounds good. So now that we know the trainers and the dolphins, I think it would only be fit to figure out what we're doing here. So there are about 44 different species of dolphins worldwide and porpoises in that equation. And here off the coast of British Columbia, we are very fortunate to see about 12 of those species. But in order to know what kind of dolphins we have before us today, we are going to have to take a closer look at those beautiful bodies. So you may have noticed some very torpedo-shaped bodies, that beautiful distinctive coloration pattern with those little light suspenders on their back, and that hook-shaped dorsal fin tells me and all of you that we are actually looking at Pacific white-sided dolphins. Now, Pacific white-sided dolphins are found exactly where their name suggests, go figure, in the Pacific Ocean. And that ranges from Southern California all the way up the coast of British Columbia, as far as Alaska, even all the way over to Japan. These dolphins are known to be extremely social, very fast, and incredibly acrobatic. One of the most acrobatic dolphin species of all is right here off of our coast. So a big splash there from Hannah, showing her exactly what she's capable of doing. So we are very fortunate to be looking at these dolphins today because they were once known as an offshore species, which means they spent a lot of time out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and over the last 30 some odd years have mysteriously moved inshore, which is great for us as researchers because out there on the water, researchers have to take photographs of these animals to identify individuals year after year to keep track of them in a catalog. So here's your great opportunity of those fantastic photos. So the best Facebook profile in town, guaranteed, with dolphins here up on the dock. Now once again, that's Spinnaker, Hannah, and Helen, giving you exactly what they're made of. And it's not every day, folks, that you get to photograph the entire body of a dolphin, because obviously out there in the ocean, those moments don't happen very often. Well, how do researchers tell them apart out there in the ocean? Very similar to how we do it here at the aquarium. We've noticed that with those dorsal fins, no two are the same. So it's equivalent to a human fingerprint per se. And that's a great way of identifying animals since that's the part of their body you'll see the most of when you're out there in the ocean. So closest to me here, that is Spinnaker. He has the most light gray on his dorsal fin. And right next to him, that is Hannah. Hers is the most triangular shape, almost looking like a shark's. And then finally on the end, that's your signature Pacific white-sided dolphin, hook-shaped with the half light gray and the half dark black. So that's a great way to tell them apart here at the aquarium, being from the underwater viewing area as well. So now that we know our dolphins and what kind of species they are, we want to figure out what their role is out there in the ocean's food web. And this is where I need your help by making lots of noise. I know it's a hot one. How many of you think these dolphins are predators? Make some noise, meaning they eat other animals. Yeah, myself and a few other people. How many of you think that they may be the prey? So they may get eaten by other animals. I know that's hard to believe. The dolphins are in on that one. How many of you think they are both predator and prey? Make some noise. For sure, and they actually do play both roles out there in the ocean. Dolphins are in on this one. They do play both predator and prey, but we are going to take a look at the predator side of things first. So inside those mouths, you will see up to about 100 to 120 sharp cone-shaped teeth. And you may also have noticed that when the trainers are feeding the dolphins, they don't actually chew their food, right? Kids, don't try that at home. You need to chew your food. But dolphins can do this. But I have a very important question, because there are some big fish swimming out there in the sea. Dolphins, would you be able to eat a large salmon? No way, not happening, huh? Well, actually, they're not answering my question, but demonstrating to all of us what they would do with that larger fish in order to tear it up into bite-sized pieces that are easier to swallow. So, as amazing as they are as predators out there, unfortunately these animals are not the highest on the food web. But luckily for them, they have that beautiful coloration that we've seen earlier, that camouflage called countershading, which allows them to blend in with the deep, dark Pacific Ocean that they live in. So from a different perspective here, all this coloration is for a reason, and it's to protect them. How does this work for the dolphins? Well, for any predators that may actually be looking to have one of them on their menu, they may not actually see the Pacific white-sided dolphin until they break the surface, just like Spinnaker's showed us there because of that very dark back blending in with the bottom of the ocean floor. For those that may be looking at them from below, that beautiful white ventral side or belly is bright and blends in with the beautiful bright sky above. Now, even with this magnificent and gorgeous counter shading color, they do end up on some menus out there. And I know you know this animal. It's big and black and white and lives off our coast. It is a killer whale. And this is how Spinnaker would get away from that very clunky killer whale by using his dynamic speed, clocking in about 35 kilometers per hour. They can certainly outswim the killer whale. And if that doesn't work, they have another animal that they need to get away from. We have some in the tropic zone. Someone was probably feeding them today. They have big sharp teeth. It is a shark, of course, and in order to get away from a shark, these dolphins would have to use a much more aggressive tactic. And what they would do to give themselves a few extra moments. Globe-trotting dolphins here today at the aquarium. Nice shot. Excellent job. So you can imagine being repeatedly struck in the gills or any part of the body. The shark certainly will feel that. And I know that I wouldn't want to be a shark in that case. But if that doesn't work, because that is a very hard part on their body, they do have some other tricks up their fins and flippers that the other side of the dolphin, those flukes or their tail, can also provide quite the swipe. I know that if I was on the other end of those tails, I certainly wouldn't be having dolphin for dinner either. But the biggest predator for these dolphins actually doesn't live in the ocean at all. And I don't want to scare all of you beautiful people here today, but you are surrounded by them. So if you look to your left and then to your right, what do you see? People. Oh. And all of these dolphins you see before us are actually animals that are rescued. They were unfortunately accidentally entangled in disregarded fishing nets off the coast of Japan. So some of them have some pretty obvious markings. Our little unique Helen there showing off her pectoral flippers as they were partially removed due to the extent of her injuries. And Spinnaker, our male, has a lot of scarring along the sides of his body to prove his encounter with those nets. Now I see some sad faces. No need to worry. These animals were rescued and rehabilitated and brought right here to the aquarium, but we can make sure that their wild counterparts don't have to endure that kind of pain and that kind of anguish. So ultimately, do you guys think you could pick up some garbage on the way home or make sure your garbage doesn't end up in the ocean? Make every day Earth Day. Does that sound like something you guys could do? Because dolphins are pretty cool, right? Well, now that we've finished up our research and we know how to help these guys out there in the ocean, I think it would only be fit to get those great last pictures of the dolphins. So get those flashes going of all three Pacific right-sided dolphins right here at the Vancouver Aquarium. Excellent job on their part, those final high bows here this afternoon. On behalf of myself, the trainers, and of course the beautiful Pacific white-sided dolphins, I know time flies when you're having fun, but all good things must come to an end, so it looks as though we've come to the tail end of our show this afternoon. So once again, thank you very much, and have a wonderful day at the Vancouver Aquarium.